with Physics, Vimla College, to invite the participants to the webinar.
Thank you, Miss. A warm good morning to all and welcome to the National Workshop on Virtual Lab organized by Postgraduate and Research Department of Physics, Vimala College Autonomous, Thrissur, funded by DBT Star College Scheme, Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. The COVID-19 pandemic has created a paradigm shift in the realm of teaching and learning. When the doors of colleges were shut for teachers and students, technology became our savior. The faculty and student community have shown unrelenting spirit to unlearn our age-old teaching learning methodologies and relearn the new technology-assisted pedagogy. The component of experiential learning and learning by doing experiments still remains a gap in the teaching learning of basic sciences in this pandemic period. This is the motivation of this national workshop organized by the Postgraduate and Research Department of Physics, as the need of the hour is a virtual platform where students can do their experiments. I'm very happy to welcome you all to this national workshop. First, I would like to welcome our dear principal, Dr. Sister Beena Jose, who has been our guiding light, who constantly motivates us to come up with innovative webinars and supports us in every way possible. I welcome Sister in her absentia. A formal word of welcome to our dear head of the department, Dr. Malini K.A., who is the master brain behind all the initiatives of our department. Welcome, Malini Miss. It is my privilege to introduce to you the person of the day, Dr. Raju Pantagani, sir. Dr. Raju Pantagani is currently working as the Associate Professor in Geethanjali College of Engineering and Technology, GCET, Hyderabad. He has completed his PhD in Physics on the topic Development of Ferrite Polymer Nanocomposites for EMI Applications from Department of Physics, Osmania University, Hyderabad. He is currently an active member in the ongoing DRDO project titled Development of Novel Carbon Nanotube Polymer Nanocomposite Materials for EMI Applications. He has over 14 international journal publications, 1 book chapter, and 1 book of abstracts to his credit. He has organized a faculty development program on the use of virtual physics labs creating next generation teachers in May 2020. He is an exponent in virtual labs in physics and electronics and has been the resource person for several webinars and e-workshops on this topic. We are indeed fortunate to have you, sir, for this national workshop on virtual lab. And on behalf of the faculty and students of Postgraduate and Research Department of Physics, Vimala College Autonomous, Thrissur, and on behalf of all the participants of this workshop, I welcome you, sir, to the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I would also like to extend a word of welcome to all the participants of this workshop. We have already 179 participants and we are expecting more to join. And special welcome to the faculty members and students who have joined from other colleges. A formal word of welcome to Dr. Mini Krishna K, the coordinator of this workshop, and all my dear colleagues and students of Postgraduate and Research Department of Physics, Vimala College Autonomous. Without much delay, let us begin our workshop. I invite Dr. Raju Pantagani, sir, to handle the session. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Denya, for the words. And now a word to the participants. Hope you all will mute your audio and video throughout the session for the better rendering. And the feedback link will be only given at the end of the webinar session. And you can also post your questions in between in the chat box only. Okay, so that's only from my side. And now we'll hand over the session to Raju sir. Raju sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Shall I share my screen?
Of course, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, a very good morning, all of you. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, the Postgraduate and Research Department of Physics, Vimala College, Autonomous, Thrissur, especially Dr. Mini Krishnan, for inviting me for this guest lecture. As you all well aware of this current situation, we all need to be use the new teaching and learning techniques, and we all need to be prepared and motivated for new learning and self-practice methods. And as you all know, the lab atmosphere is also changing from real-time hands-on experience to virtual hands-on experience. So in this connection, today I'm trying to explain an effective medium for an effective lab setup, or for an effective to do the experiment in an effective manner with almost equal to hands-on experience. Today I'm going to introduce a website. So the name of the website is tinkercad.com. It is not an software, no need to be installed in your local system. It is just a website. So the name of the website is tinkercad.com. Today in my session, I'll introduce the website, and I'll also explain you how to use the website, and how we can create our own circuits, and how we can assign to the students a mini projects by using that website. Today I'm going to explain. So before enter into the main website, first I would like to briefly introduce you what are the tasks that we can do by using that website. First I'll briefly introduce you, then I'll go to the direct website. So first, by using that website, we can create our own 3D animations, or let me say 3D images, something like this. So something like these 3D images we can create by using that website. The second thing that we can do by using that website is, so see here, so by using that website we can also create the virtual circuit, something like this. So these are the some virtual circuits which are created by that website. So the third thing, we can create our own small animations. So to create animation, no need to be perfect in a particular software. So by a simple way, we can create our own small animations. So something like this, which I am showing now. So this is something like a rocket. The rocket is going to Mars, let me say, some just like that. So that is, we are creating a rocket and we are sending the rocket. So that is the some small animation. So these type of animations also we can do, or we can create by using that website. So now I'm going to into the website. So hold a moment. Yeah, it is opening. So all of you please note down the website URL. It is tinkercad.com. tinkercad.com. So all of you please try to note down the website. Yeah, it is loading. Yes. Yeah, so this is the home page of the website. So first I'll show you what is the home page. What is the home page? So see here, this is the home page of the website. So these are the, as I said just now, so these are the 3 tasks that we can do by using this website. So we can create our 3D designs, we can create our own electronic virtual circuits, and we can create our own 3D animation. Just now I've shown you, the rocket animation that can be done by using this code blocking. So this is the code blocking, and this is an introductory video for this website. After the session, if you log into this website, you just first play this video so that you will get to know what are the things that we can do by using this website. You will get to know. So this is a video. So and so yeah, so this is about the home page of the website. Now to use of this website, first we need to be signed in. So here you please see here at the right corner there is a sign in option. So you just need to be click on the sign in. So after clicking on the sign in, there are 3 options. So yeah, so email or username, sign in with the Google or sign in with Apple. So it is the simple way to the simple way to sign in into the website is sign in with the Google. So why it is a simple way? Because almost all of you have a Gmail account. So by using a simple your Gmail account, no need to give all your details again. So you just click sign in with the Google. Just enter your existing Gmail account and enter the password. Then it will directly redirect you to your personal dashboard. So after this is successful login into the website, it will directly redirect you, or it will redirect you to your personal dashboard. So I'll show you what is the meaning of personal dashboard. I'll show you. Yeah. So this is my personal dashboard. So this is my login details. So, and here in this my work in my dashboard, so I have my own 3D designs. So these are the 3D designs which I have tried to be create. I have tried to create, and if you click on circuit, so these are the circuits. So it is loading. Yeah, so these are the circuits which I have created. So these are my own circuits, and code blocks I have not yet tried, not yet expertised on the code blocking. So I have just tried some code blocking. So anyway, today I'm going to explain in detail about the circuits, only circuits. I have not tried 3D designs and code blockings. I have tried only the circuits. So now I'm going to explain in detail about how to create a new circuit. So how to create, let me say, a new project, let me say. Okay, so after detailed explanation of how to create a new circuit, I will also show you some of my projects. So these are all my projects. So some of my projects also I will try to show you at the end of the circuit, at the end of the introduction. Now, so to create the new circuit, what you need to do, you need to click on create new circuit. So after clicking on create a new circuit, it will redirect to your empty workplace. So it will redirect to your workplace, and that is an empty. So see here, this is the workplace. So initially it is an empty. So okay, so this is the empty workplace, and these are the components. So see here, the right side, these are the components, and by using these components, we need to create the circuit here. So this is the workplace, and today I'm going to explain how to create the circuits by using a Tinkercad by forming a simple LED circuit. So I'm repeating once again. Today I'm going to explain how to create a circuit by using Tinkercad by forming a simple LED circuit. So since my project name is a simple LED circuit, so first I'll change my project name to LED circuit. So how to change the project name? So all of you please see here at the left corner. Here it is. There is some another random name. You just double click there. So just give the project name, enter. So see here, so my project name has successfully changed. Now I'm going to form a simple LED circuit. Now how to form an LED circuit? First we need to know, to create any circuit, first we need to know what are the components are required. So first we need to select all the components, then we need to connect all the components. Usually this we will do in our regular lab. In the same way we will do here, but in a virtual manner. So first, to form an LED circuit, first what I need a simple breadboard. So first let me search for breadboard, and no need to go to look into all the components. Where is the breadboard? Where is the breadboard? So you just simply search here, breadboard. So you just type here, breadboard. So see, there are three options for the breadboard. So breadboard small, breadboard mini. My circuit and this LED circuit is a simple LED circuit, so the breadboard mini is enough. So see, so how to take the components from here to the workplace, I'll show you once again. First I'll delete this one. Yeah, so it is very simple. You just place the cursor on the component, click on the component, and drag the component to your workplace. This is how you can get the components from the list of the components to the workplace. So I got the breadboard. So see here it is a breadboard, and hope you all know what is the meaning of a breadboard and how the breadboard works. So in the breadboard, so all of you please try to see the breadboard. So when I'm taking the cursor, when I'm moving the cursor, so you see, all of you please try to look at the highlighting part. So what does it mean? So in the breadboard, all these the holes are internally connected, and the side-by-side holes are internally disconnected. This is the first property of the breadboard. And so as you could see here, the breadboard is designed in the same way what we will use in our regular lab. So what is the first main advantage of this website is, while doing the components or while doing the circuit connection, we will feel that almost equal to hands-on experience. That is the best thing about this website. So try to get that point. So this is now, yeah, now I got the breadboard. Now I need an LED. So see, already LED is there. Let me type here how many types of LEDs are available. So see, there is a simple LED and there is one more LED, LED RGB, but I will use now a simple LED. Now click on LED and drag the LED to a particular an appropriate place. Yeah, so see here, when I take the LED near to the breadboard holes, it is directly attaching to the breadboard. So now I have connected my LED to the breadboard. Yeah, now I need a battery. Okay. Yeah, so now I need a battery. So just type battery. So see here, there are 3 options for the battery. So a 9 volts battery we can use, a coin cell battery of 3 volts, or a 1.5 volts battery. So in this experiment, now I will use this cell battery. Yeah, so 1.5 volts. Now I'm going to use one battery. Now, so I have all the components, all the required components. Now what I need to do, I need to connect all the components. So to connect the components, one should know the polarities of the components, and which means which terminal is positive and which terminal is negative, and positive connected to anode or cathode, or negative connected to anode or cathode. This is what you need to know. That is the polarities. So to know the polarities, it is very easy. You just place the cursor any one of the terminal. So for example, so see here, so if I place the cursor at the black terminal, so what it is showing, it is a negative. So here it is positive. Now I am going to LED. So this is the cathode and this is an anode. So this negative terminal need to be connected to the cathode. This positive terminal need to be connected to the anode. Now to connect the components, we need wires. So to get the wires, so what to do to get the wires? So it is very simple. So first you need to select any one of the terminal, double click at the terminal and drag the terminal, drag from the terminal. So wire will be produced. So I will show you once again. So first place the cursor any one of the terminal, here or here, or here also you can do. So here, double click and drag it. So a wire will be produced. And we cannot connect always the wires in a straight way. So we need to get some turns. So we cannot go directly like this to here. So it is something, of course, here there are only 2 terminals we need to be connected. No need to get confused. But for critical circuits, we need to get, we need to go in an appropriate way for the wiring also. That is to avoid the confusion. So how to get turn to the wire? For example, I want to turn the wire here. So you just double click here and drag again. Double click, drag. So this is an easy way. Okay, now since I have connected the negative terminal to the cathode, so I'll change the color of the wire to the black. So the color codings are also very important for any electronic circuits. The color codings will avoid the confusion, and also will the circuit connections, you can make sure that the circuit connection is proper or not. So next, the positive connection is so negative connection is over. Now I'll try to connect the positive wire. So to connect the positive wire, so again, okay, done. So the positive is also over. Now I'll convert this into red. Yeah, so I have connected the negative terminal to the cathode, positive terminal to the anode. So the circuit connection is over. Now to know whether it is working or not, after the completion of circuit connection, you need to click on start simulation. So you please see here at the right top, so right side top. So see here there is an option start simulation. So you just click on start simulation. So if the circuit connection is proper, then LED should glow. So all of you please try to observe the LED. So I'll just maximize. Yeah, so I'll just maximize. Yeah, so all of you please look at the LED. So my circuit connection is proper, so the LED is glowing now, but the intensity of LED is not sufficient. So now what we need to do, we need to increase the intensity of LED. So to increase the intensity of LED, what we need to do, I'll show you. Yeah. Okay, so hold, yes. So now, so the intensity of LED is not sufficient, so that we are unable to notice the intensity of LED. So what I will do, so I'll increase the number of the batteries. So see here, there are options for the batteries. So you just click on the battery, there are options. So initially it is one battery. Now I'll increase to 2 batteries. Oh, see what has happened to the LED? When I increase the number of batteries to 2, what has happened to LED? Please try to observe. I'll also add a switch to the batteries, so it is easy to observe what is happening to the LED. So all of you please look at the LED when I switch on the batteries. So when I switch on the batteries, the LED has damaged. So when there is a one battery, the intensity is not sufficient, but when I increase to the 2 batteries, the LED has damaged. So why the LED has damaged? Because when the high potential is applied to the LED, large current has flown through the LED that causes the damage the LED. So to prevent the damage of LED, so what we need to do, we need to control the current. We need to control the flow of current. So how to control the flow of current in any circuit? I'm repeating the question. So how to control the flow of current in any circuit? By introducing a resistor. Now I'm going to introduce a resistor to prevent the LED. Yeah. So now I'm going to introduce an LED resistor. So first, to introduce LED, I'll introduce the LED to the right side. So I'm removing the right side wire. Now I'm going to a resistor. Yeah. So here it is the resistor, but the orientation of resistor is not proper. So like this, we cannot connect the resistor. So to connect the resistor, first we need to change the orientation of the resistor to horizontal. Now it is a vertical, so I need to change the orientation of resistor to the horizontal. So how to change the orientation in horizontal? So you just select the component. So see here at the left top, there is an option for the rotate. So you just click on that rotate. So see, so the orientation of the resistor has changed. Now I am taking the resistor. Okay. Yeah. So one end of the resistor is connected to the anode. The other end is left free now. Now this other end I need to connect it to the positive. Done. Again, I will change the color to red. Okay. Now I'll start simulation. Let us see. So see, still there are 2 batteries, but there is no damage to the LED. Why? Because the resistor which controls the flow of current through the LED, and so that there is no damage to the LED. Now let me increase the number of batteries to the 4, or let me see for 3. See, there is no damage. I'll increase to 4. Still there is no damage. So if there is no resistor, the LED is not sustain, or the LED is not sustaining up to 2 batteries only. But now when I introduce the resistor, it can sustain up to 4 batteries. So this is the importance of the resistor. So by using this website, the other important point, advantage of this website is you will get to know about any component. You will get to understood about any component in a perfect way. Okay, so but in practical, that is the main thing. And one more important thing I would like to mention here. So since it is the resistor, and the value of the resistor initially it is 1 kilo ohm. The value of resistor we can vary from pico ohm to giga ohm. So very less resistance to very high resistance. So pico, which means it is 10 power minus 12, and giga, which means 10 power plus 9. So from 10 power minus 12 ohms to 10 power plus 9 ohm, we can use the value of the resistance. So for example, let me change the resistance value to nano ohm, let me say. So see what has happened. Again the LED has broken, because there is a very less resistance that allows a large current through the LED, that causes again the damage to the LED. Let me increase to giga ohm. Let us see what will happen. So there is no glowing of an LED. Why? There is no sufficient current is passing through the LED, that causes no glowing of an LED. So the selection of an appropriate resistance value is very important. That is also we will be able to understood here. That is a great thing. And then another important thing, all of you please try to observe the color coding of the resistor. So all of you please see here, these are the color codings for 1 kilo ohm. If I change it to another value, so all of you please look at the color codings. So see, there is a change in the color codings also. So in this way, you can also, you will able to understood what is the importance of the color coding of the resistor. So that is a good thing here. And okay, so that is a good thing. So in this way, you can understand about any component in a perfect way, and with almost equal to hands-on experience. And the similar components we will use in our regular lab. So here you will experience almost equal to real-time lab experience. Okay, now, so as I said, when I introduce the resistor, there is no damage to the LED. Now I want to know actually how much current is flowing through this circuit. So I would like to know how much current is flowing through this circuit. So to know the current in the circuit, as we all know, what the meter we will use? A multimeter we will use. So now I'm going to introduce a multimeter to know the current, how much current is flowing through the circuit. So search for multimeter. Yeah. So multimeter. So see here, it is there is a multimeter. Okay. The multimeter has come. So this is a multimeter, and this multimeter can measure voltage, current, amperage, which means current, resistance, which means the resistance. Here I would like to measure the current in the circuit, so I will convert the multimeter into amperage. Okay, so see here, A is highlighting now. So now, and as you all know, ammeter need to be connected in series. So the negative terminal need to be connected negative side of the battery, positive terminal need to be connected positive side of the battery. This is the red and this is black. Okay, now let us check. Yeah, so see here, how much current is flowing through the circuit? 4.08 milliamps. So this is how we can measure the current in the circuit. Now I'd like to measure the voltage. Yeah, now I'd like to measure the voltage drop across the LED. I would like to measure voltage drop across the LED. So I need to introduce an voltmeter. So again, take a multimeter. Yeah. So okay. So this is a multimeter. So default it is measuring voltage only. So the V is highlighting. Now, as you all know, the voltmeter need to be connected parallel to the component. So the negative terminal need to be connected negative cathode, negative side of the LED. Positive terminal need to be connected. Yeah. So positive side of the battery. So the voltmeter connection is over. Now let us see. Start simulation. So see how much voltage is dropping across an LED. It is 1.09 volt. How much current is flowing through the circuit? It is 4.09. So this is how we can measure the voltage and current in a given circuit. So now I am showing for the LED circuit, but the same way you can use these two components, or the voltmeter and ammeter, in any circuit, like as I shown here. And to do the, and yeah, the next now in our lab, the constant power supply we may not use in our lab, in our regular lab, which means the input voltage must be varied. The input voltage must be varied. The constant power supply we will be not use in our regular lab. The voltage supply must be increase or decrease. So the voltage supply must be varied. Then only we will be able to do the experiment. Now I will show you how to vary the input voltage. So now to vary the input voltage, we need to add a component, potentiometer. So see here, potentiometer. So yes, so now I got the potentiometer, and there is a small point I need to be add here. All the previous components are two terminal components. One is cathode, other one is anode, but the potentiometer has three terminals. So how usually you will get a question how to connect the three components, three terminal components in the circuit. So to clear the doubt, you can just go to the pre-connected circuits. So here you please see here, the left right side, there are some pre-connected circuits, and already the potentiometer has connected to some other circuits. So by taking reference of that other circuits, you can connect the potentiometer. Or I will explain you. I'll explain you how to connect the potentiometer. So there are three terminals: the terminal 1, wiper, terminal 2. So first let me disconnect this wire. Yeah, the terminal 1 need to be connected negative terminal of the battery. So you please remember. So the terminal 1 need to be connected negative terminal of the battery, so that is to become black. Terminal 2 need to be connected positive terminal of the battery. Yeah, so this is red. Now the wiper need to be connected in the circuit. So since we have already given positive and negative, let it be in green only. So this is how we can connect the potentiometer in the circuit. Now let us start simulation. So I'll show you how the potentiometer work out. So see here, initially there is no turn to the potential, which means the potentiometer is something like we should turn the knobs. Okay, so initially the knob is at 0, so 0 voltage across the LED, 0 current in the circuit. Now I'll try to increase the knob. So how to rotate the knob? You just place the cursor, you just click it and drag it. So this is how we can increase the potential or input voltage. So all of you please, here an important point you need to observe here. While I am increasing the potentiometer, while I am rotating the knob of the potentiometer, all of you please look at the voltmeter and ammeter. So how the voltage and current is varying while I am increasing the while I am rotating the knob. All of you please look at the voltmeter and ammeter. So see, please observe. I'll come once again. So all of you please see, up to certain voltage there is no current in the circuit. So up to 1.6 volt, up to 1.6 volt, no current is flowing through the circuit. That is the first point we need to observe here. So try to understand, try to observe once again. So up to 1.6 volt, there is no current in the circuit. And after the 1.6 voltage, the current, so the current starts from microamps but ends with milliamp. But the voltage increases very short, which means it is 1.6 to 1.9, but the current increases exponentially. So these 2 points are very important. So first point, up to certain voltage, there is no current in the circuit, and then once the current starts flowing through the circuit, it is increases exponentially. So these 2 points are very important, and these 2 points only we need to observe in our regular lab. Okay, so I'll explain you why there is no current up to certain voltage. Yeah. So I'll repeat once again. So up to certain voltage, there is no current in the circuit, which means in case of an LED, there should be a turn on voltage. Hope you all know what is an LED. LED is a normal PN junction diode where an electron hole recombination will produce the light. So to produce the light or to recombine the electron hole, we need to apply a minimum voltage. That voltage is known as turn on voltage. So up to turn on voltage, there will be no current. So in our experiment, in our regular experiment, so the turn on voltage is 1.6. So after the turn on voltage, the current increases in the circuit in exponentially. So this is how finally, so this is how we can construct an LED circuit and how we can do this experiment for our regular lab, for our regular LED lab experiment. So now I'll show you how this circuit can be used as for our regular labs. So I don't know whether you have LED experiment or not, but I'll show you in our college how the LED experiment can be done in our regular lab. First I'll show you, and now I'll also show you how the Tinkercad circuit can be used for this experiment. So all of you please see here. So this is our regular in our college lab manual. So this is an experiment, the VI characteristics of light emitting diode. This is the aim, to draw the VI characteristics to measure the Planck's constant. But now I am not explaining how to measure the Planck's constant because it is just a mathematical calculations. The main part is we need to create our circuit. Okay. So to draw the VI characteristics. Now, so this is the circuit diagram. So see here, the variable source to the resistance to milliammeter, milliammeter to the LED, LED to the negative terminal. So once all of you please come to our Tinkercad circuit. So positive to the milliammeter, milliammeter to the resistor, resistor to the LED, LED to the negative terminal. Across the LED there is an voltmeter. So all of you please see here, across the LED there is an voltmeter. So as shown in the circuit diagram, I have connected in our Tinkercad. Now, so this is the table. In this table, what we need to do, we need to note down the values, voltage versus current. If you plot the graph, voltage versus current, you need to get the graph as shown here. So this is a theoretical graph. So up to certain voltage, the current is 0. Then the current should increase exponentially. Okay. Now, so now I'll show you. So this is the experimental setup. Now I will show you how these voltage and current values can be noted down, how to note down these values, and how to plot the graph. I'll show you. So to plot the graph, I'm using a software, MagicPlot. This is a free software. You can use in any system, MagicPlot Student. So this is a free, a simple plotting, graph plotting software. And in this software, I'll plot the graph and I'll show you. And finally I'll also show you how this experimental graph is coinciding with a theoretical graph. Yeah. So now, okay. So now I should start the simulation. Okay. So now initially it is 0 and 0. So this is voltage and this is current. Okay. Now I'll enter the values. So initially it is 0 and 0. So 0, 0. Now I'll increase to certain value of voltage. So see here it is 480 millivolt. The current is 0. So enter the value. So 480, which means 0.480. the current is 0. Now I'll increase the voltage to another value. Yeah, let me say it is 960, the current still 0. Okay, 0.96, the current is 0. Now I'll increase to, yeah, okay, 1.6. So 1.6, the current is still 0. Now I'll increase to 1.7, let me say. Okay, so 1.7. Now the current is 75.6 microamps. So the current is 1.7, 75.6 microamps, which means 0.075 milliamps. Okay, next. Now I'll increase the current to 1.8. Yeah, so it is 690 microamps. So 1.8. So 0.69. Now I'll increase to, yeah, so 1.91, it is 4.08. 1.91 is 4.08. Now these are the values. Now I'll plot these values. Okay, so now I'll show you. So hope you are all able to see the graph. So all of you please look at the graph and come to the theoretical graph. So this is the theoretical graph. One moment, I'll show you. Okay, so this is a theoretical graph, and coming to the experimental graph. So this is the experimental graph. So this is the experimental graph, and this is the theoretical graph, and something like this is the turn on voltage, and we can, let me increase the scale. Okay. Yeah, okay, anyway. So see here, up to certain voltage. So up to this value, the current is 0. So here the current start increases, which means this voltage is known as turn on voltage. So this is the agreement with the theoretical values to the experimental value. So finally, this is how we can construct a virtual circuit in our Tinkercad, and how we can use that Tinkercad circuit to do our regular experiment. So this is how we can do the experiment. And about this plotting software, it is a Magicplot software. It is a free software. Again, no need to install in your system. You can just download and double click on the icon, that will directly run into in your system. You just give the values and click on the plot, you will get the graph. So this is how we can use yeah, so how we can use the Tinkercad. So finally coming to, yeah, so this is how we can use this Tinkercad website to construct a virtual electronic circuit, and how we can use that circuit to our regular experiment. So this is about an LED. Now I'm going to explain one more experiment by constructing, then I will show you my own projects. So now I will show you one more experiment by constructing in the same way, then I will show you my own projects. So the one more experiment is regarding half wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier or full wave rectifier. So okay, just a moment, I'll show you. Yeah, so first we need the important point to construct in a Tinkercad, to construct an electronic circuit in a Tinkercad, the first thing you need to know, you need to be perfect with the circuit diagram. Then only you will be able to construct the circuit in our Tinkercad. Then only the simulations work out. Otherwise, a simple error, a single error cannot be entertained. So first thing, you need to be perfect with your circuit diagram. Then only you need to go to the Tinkercad. So this is the half-wave rectifier with and without filter experiment. So in our, this is the lab manual of our college. So the aim of the half-wave rectifier is, first we need to be construct half-wave rectifier, then we need to be calculated this percentage of regulation, ripple factor, and so on. So there are so many factors we need to be calculated, but the main part is we need to be construct an half-wave rectifier, which means the input and output, we need to compare both input and output. So in the output, half cycle should be neglected, or half cycle should be filtered or rectified. That is very important. So this is the circuit diagram for the half-wave rectifier. So this is the transformer, and or let me say the function generator. So this is the function generator. To the function generator, a diode is need to be connected. To the parallel to the diode, a resistance is need to be connected. Across the resistor, we need to connect a CRO. In the CRO, in the oscilloscope, we will see whether the cycle is rectifying or not. The full cycles are rectifying or not, we will see. So this is without filter, the circuit diagram without filter, and this is the circuit diagram with filter, which means to the resistor, to the load resistor, a capacitor need to be connected. So that is with the filter. Now I'll show you these two circuit diagrams in the Tinkercad. Now, yeah, I'll take a new workplace, then I'll show you there. Okay, so again, it is redirecting to your own workplace. Yeah, now again, click on create a new circuit. So change the project name to half wave rectifier, HWR, in bracket, with and without filter. Okay, so that is my project name. Okay, now first I need to select the components. So first the component I need function generator. Yeah, so this is a function generator. Okay, so after selecting the function generator, first you need to give the parameters for the function generator. Usually in our lab, we will use a 50 hertz of wave frequency, 50 hertz. So the frequency is 50. Let us give a 9 volt amplitude. Let me say give 0 DC offset. So the major advantage of this virtual circuit diagram is there are 3 options. In our lab, we have only one option. We need to do with a sine wave. But here there are 3 options. I mean, we can play with this function generator. Usually our lab operator or our lab in charge will not allow you to play with the components. But here the good thing is, here you can play with the components. You can damage any component in n number of times. Nothing will happen. So I think I thought by damaging the components only we will get to know about that component. That is the good thing anyway. So here you can play here in the Tinkercad. So now I have applied a 50 hertz frequency and amplitude of 9 volt and DC offset is 0. Now I'm using sine wave. Okay. Now I need a diode. So the diode, I need to turn the rotation of diode. Okay. Now across the diode, I need to connect a resistor. Okay, resistor. Now across the resistor, I need to connect an oscilloscope. Okay, now I have all the components which are required. Now I need to connect these components with the wires. Since it is an AC signal, there is no particular polarity, so no need to give a color codings to the wire. So okay. Okay, the wiring is done. Now let us click on simulation. Okay, now click on simulation. Let us see. So see, how is the output? The second cycles are rectified. So I think I mean, you may get the doubt. Maybe there is the input is only like that. You may get something like doubt. So I'll show you what is an actual input and what is the rectified. What is an actual output and what is the rectified output. I'll show you. So to show that, I'll connect another oscilloscope directly to the function generator. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So all of you please look at the two oscilloscopes. So this oscilloscope showing you the unrectified output, and this oscilloscope is showing the rectified output. So these half cycles are rectifying by using this diode. So these half cycles are rectifying by using this diode. So this is unrectified output. The lower oscilloscope is showing unrectified output, and this oscilloscope is showing rectified output. So this is how we can construct a half wave rectifier. The constructing of a half wave rectifier is almost equal to 90% of experimental work is over. The remaining is only the mathematical work that can be done by anyone. A lab assistant can also do the mathematical work, but this construction is very important. Why this is very important? If you know a complete theoretical part of half wave rectifier, then only you will be able to construct perfectly. Otherwise you will be not able to construct the half wave rectifier. So next, yeah, this is how we can construct a half wave rectifier. Now I'll show you how we can insert a filter in the half wave rectifier. So without filter is over. Now I'll construct a half wave rectifier with a filter. So now I'm going with again a function generator. The values, I need to change the values. F0 sine wave. Okay. Next diode. Need to change the orientation of diode. Next resistor. Now to this circuit, I need to connect a capacitor to parallel. Now take a capacitor. Yeah. Okay. So this capacitor need to be connected in parallel. So I'll turn the capacitor. Okay. Now oscilloscope. Now again I have all the required components. Now I need to give the wiring. Okay. Yeah, the circuit connection is over. Now let us see whether the filter is working or not. Yeah, so see here, this is without filter, the output of without filter. This is the output of with filter, and hope you are able to understood. I have not changed any component, just I have inserted a capacitor in parallel to the load resistance. So when I insert the capacitor, the lower ripples are removed. Hope you all know what is the meaning of a filter. The filter which removes the AC component in the rectified output. So the filter will remove the AC component in the rectified output. So that is how is happening here. So this is, so the filtered output, this is unfiltered output, this is unrectified output. So this is rectified, this is filter. So hope you will be able to understood how the rectifier is working out. So okay, so this is how we can construct a half-wave rectifier. Now, yeah, I'll show you some of my projects. So first, I'll show you how to construct a full wave rectifier. Yeah, before that, first let me show you. Okay, so before that, first let me show you how to share this prepared circuit diagram to your fellow faculties or to your students. So for example, if you would like to know, if you would like to share this circuit diagram or this entire simulation to your fellow faculties or to your students, so how to share? First let me show you so how to share. So see here, hold a moment, I'll show you. The sharing is very important because for everyone we cannot show you in our laptop, so we need to share the circuit diagrams. Yeah, okay, I'll show you how to share. So for example, this half wave rectifier circuit I would like to share with my students. So see here, there is a setting like option is highlighting here. You just click on option, so go to the properties. So here initially it is private, which means only I can see that animation. To share this animation, you need to convert it into public. So save changes. Now open this. So see here, a link will be generated. And this link you just copy and you can paste in any WhatsApp group, or you can send through a mail. Or if you are well aware of Google Classroom, by clicking here you can directly share this link to your particular classroom, Google Classroom, and you can share to you can share in a Twitter, or you can share in a Facebook also. So this is how we can share. So you just copy the link, you can share to the students or the faculty. So if they entered in their search bar, in their address bar, so now I'm showing you how that link can be opened. Yeah, it is coming. Oh, one moment. Yeah, like this. So by using that link, so they can be opened like this. So directly they'll be able to open the simulation. So if they want to change the circuit, they need to click on tinker this. If they want to edit the circuit, they need to click on tinker this. Okay, so this is how you can share your work with your students or your fellow faculties. So this is how to construct the circuit. Now I'll show you a full wave rectifier, and yeah, some of my projects. These are all some of my projects. Now I'm not going in detail something like before, because I have already explained you how these components can be taken from the dashboard and how to connect all these components. Just I will show you what are the projects which I have created. Yeah, so please see here, this is so full wave rectifier and half wave rectifier circuits. Yeah, it's coming. Hold a moment. Okay, so this is a half wave rectifier and this is a full wave rectifier. Since there is no center tap available, so we cannot construct a full wave rectifier by using a center tap transformer, but we can construct a bridge rectifier. Bridge rectifier is again a full wave rectifier. So this is a full wave rectifier. Yeah, next, yeah, I'll show you PN junction diode. So yeah, so this is a PN junction diode circuit, and this is forward biased PN junction diode. I'll show you how it will work. So I have connected a potentiometer to vary the voltage across the diode. Now I will show you when I am varying the voltage, how the current is varying. So all of you please look at the voltage and the current. So all of you please look at the voltage. So up to certain voltage there is no current in the diode. After certain voltage the current is increasing, and the current increasing exponentially. So the VI characteristics are similar to the LED, but the starting voltage, or let me say the turn on voltage, is very less to the normal PN junction diode. So it is just around 0.4 volt, but there it is around 1.6 volt. So that is you need to understand here. So this is the circuit diagram of a PN junction diode. So see, again you can share this link. If anyone want my project links, you can contact me through the organizers. If the organizers ask me, then I'll provide all the links, whatever you require. And then I'll show you a Zener diode working. Yeah, so this is the Zener diode circuit diagram. Hope you all know what is the Zener diode. It is a heavily doped reverse biased diode. So in case of reverse biasing, so what will happen in the Zener diode? So Zener diode will be acted as a voltage regulator, which means at a particular after a particular voltage, the voltage should remain constant. After the Zener voltage, the voltage remains constant. So that we need to be observe here. So all of you please observe the voltmeter and the ammeter. So initially, yeah. So see, the voltage is increasing. So after 5, which means the 5 volt is the Zener voltage. So after the 5, see, the voltage almost remained constant, but the current increasing exponentially. So the voltage remained constant, but the current increases exponentially. So how you will get okay, so how you will get graph here? A straight line. So Zener diode. So this is the construction and working of a Zener diode. And the one more a critical circuit I'll show you, a complicated circuit. Yes. Yeah, it is coming. Yeah. So this is, yeah, common base configuration circuit diagram. This one of my critical project. So it took a lot of time for me. So because here I have used an NPN transistor. So see here is an emitter, base, collector. This is common base configuration, which means the base terminal is common. So this is the base. The base terminal is common for both input and output. So this is common base configuration, which I have connected in using a Tinkercad. So I'll show you how this circuit diagram will work out. So hope you all know what are the input and output characteristics. To know the input characteristics, we need to keep the constant the output voltage. We need to keep the constant the output voltage. So first let me fix the output voltage. So for example, yeah, I'll fix the output voltage is at 2.34, let me say. Now I'll increase the input voltage and try to observe how the input current is varying. So please try to observe. Up to certain voltage the current is 0, then the current increases exponentially. So hope you all know what is the CB configuration. I'll explain a little theory. In case of CB configuration, in case of input characteristics, the input characteristics are similar to the normal PN junction diode, which means up to certain voltage the current should be 0, then the current should increases exponentially. So all of you please try to observe. So up to certain voltage the current is 0 and the current increasing exponentially, which means it started with microamps but reached to the milliamps. So this is how the input characteristics are varied. Now I'll show you how the output characteristics are varied. So first let me take all the values are 0. Now I'll fix to observe the output characteristics. We need to kept constant the input voltage, input current we need to be kept constant, input current. So now let me keep yeah, so the input current is at 20 microamps. Now I'll vary the output voltage. So all of you please try to observe the output current. Yes, so all of you please try to observe. In the output characteristics, for any value of output voltage, output current must be constant, which means in CB configuration, in output characteristics, output current must be independent of output voltage. So that is what is going here, what is going to happen here. So please see here, please observe. So this is how we can construct a CB configuration, which means common base configuration, and how we can do the experiment by using this CB configuration. And okay, I'll show you one more of my projects. Then I'll go to the how we can assign projects to the students. So okay, so that defined. Yeah, this is an RC circuit. Okay, so what is an RC circuit? RC circuit, which means the resistance and the capacitor is connected in series, and when you're applying a voltage, an output input voltage, how the charge is varying across the capacitor, how the charge increasing across the capacitor, and how the charge decreasing across the capacitor, we need to observe here. So this is an RC circuit. So see here, the resistor and the capacitor is connected in series. So across the capacitor and the voltmeter is connected. So here I have connected a switch, a 3-terminal switch. Now I'll show you. So initially the switch is on. So see, observe the voltage across the capacitor, how the voltage is increasing. So initially the voltage has increased exponentially, and so please observe the voltage. So see, the rate of increase has decreased. The rate of increase has decreased, which means it is something like an exponential curve, something like exponential curve. So if when I switch off, so see here, it is discharging. The rate of discharge is also exponential. The rate of discharge is also exponential. Rate of charge is exponential. Rate of discharge is also exponential. By performing this experiment, we can calculate time constant of a given RC circuit, and the advantage of this Tinkercad is we can select any set of R and C values. So usually in our lab, mostly three or four set values are available. I mean 3 or 4 set resistor and capacitor setups are available. But here you can do for any value of a capacitor, for any value of resistor, and an important precaution can be neglected here. So nothing will happen to any component. No component will be damaged for the wrong handling of a component. That is first and most important precaution we can neglect here. That is a good thing. Anyway, so this is some of my projects. So there are so many projects which I have created with my own interest. So I have created some resistor in parallel, resistors in series, Kirchhoff current law, Kirchhoff voltage law, and Ohm's law. So these are all which, because of for my own interest I have created, but I will not waste much time. Anyway, so these are all some of my projects. So now, so this is how we can construct in our own circuit and how we can use that circuit to our regular lab sessions. Now I will show you how we can give a project to the students. So how we can give a projects to the student, how we can assign a project to the student. So to assign a project to the student, you need to go to the gallery. So click on the gallery, then go to the circuit, go to the circuit. So there are a large number of projects are available, which are prepared by some other the members. Those have registered in our in this Tinkercad. So these are the very interesting projects. So for example, hope you all know an important electronic component is an Arduino. Hope you all know what is an Arduino. So I'll show you one of the project. For example, yeah. So this is an Arduino project. So what is this project is, I'll show you. Yeah. So let me say start simulation. So something, this Arduino project is very interesting for me. For example, if you also found this project is very important. So if you want to assign the same project to your students, so what you need to do, I'll show you now. So start simulation. Okay, so by connecting an Arduino, they are glowing an LED neo strips. So these LED strips are glowing by using this Arduino. Hope you all know what is an Arduino. We need to write some coding to this Arduino. So for example, if you like this project, so this is done by this name. Anyway, so if you like this project and you want to assign the same projects to your student, so how to assign, I'll show you. So first you need to click on copy and tinker. Copy and tinker. So once you copy to your dashboard, you can edit that project. That is the thing that I would like to share here. So this is copied to my dashboard, my personal dashboard. So here I can edit this project. Okay. Now, for example, so this project is very interesting. Now this project I want to assign to my students. So how to assign? So to assign to the students, first you need to know what are the components used for this circuit connection. To know the components, so you just click on a table symbol. So see here, there is a table symbol. You just click on table symbol, where you will get the list of the components which are used in that project, and you need to note down all this list and go to the project and take a photograph, the photograph of this the circuit, and then go to your empty workplace and select all the components from your table and try to reconnect all the components. If you are able to run successfully the simulation, then your project is over. For example, I'll show you. So see here, initially it is glowing with small time interval. Now I'm going to the coding of this Arduino. Now I'll change the delay time to 10, let me say. Now I'll start the simulation. So see, the LED, the glowing of LED, the time of glowing LED is increased. Now it is, the LEDs are increasing little fastly. So this is how you can change the project, existing project, or this is how you can assign to your students also. And an important thing here, as you all know, the Arduino is a very important component, and in our regular lab, we cannot play with an Arduino. Any wrong handling of an Arduino can damage the Arduino. So, but here you can play with the Arduino literally. So whatever you want, you can do with this Arduino. Nothing will happen. So if this Arduino has damaged, then go to the item section. You just search for another Arduino. Nothing costs you. So so see, there is another Arduino is available. So no worry, you can play with an electronic component here. That is the first and the best advantage of this website. Now, so this is how you can assign projects to your student. I'll show you one more project. Okay, again go to gallery. Circuits. So this is multiplexing Arduino RC robot. So by using a wireless remote, they are operating an Arduino. Robo motors also available here. So you can virtually connect the robots. So and this is servo motor. So how we can construct a servo motor here? First you can practice here, then you can go to physical servo motors. And I want to show you. So actually, yeah. So what is this project? This is also an important project, an interesting project. So what they have done in this project, I'll show you. It's coming. Okay, so in this project, what they have done, they have, by using an Arduino and an IR, some IR remote, so they are operating LEDs wirelessly. So they are operating LEDs wirelessly. So I'll show you. Okay, so if I press 0, so please observe here, the first bulb is glowing. If I press 1, second bulb is glowing. If I press 4, the fourth bulb is glowing. If I press 6, sixth bulb is glowing. If I press 9, so ninth bulb is glowing. So if I press 0 again, so the bulb is off. First press is on the bulb. Again, if you press the 0, it is the bulb is offing, which means which means wirelessly we are operating the LEDs. So actually this is the project, and a very interesting project. By using an Arduino, they have created this circuit. Now I want to assign the same projects to my students. So by doing the same, of course, by doing the same projects, so they may get a new idea. After completion of this project, they may get new idea. So what I will do, again I will go to the table. So these are the components which they have used to the that project. You can download as a CSV. So you will get this components list, and go to the project, take a snap, take a screenshot, and try to reconnect it. If it is working as usual, then your project is over. By doing that project, you may get new ideas, or you may get well understood about what is an IR remote and what is an Arduino. So how to use the dashboards, and how to use these breadboards, these are all you may get an idea, better idea. So this is how we can assign a small mini projects to our students. And one more important thing we can use by we can do by using this website is, we can create our own classrooms with our students, and we can teach them by using this website. So see here, there is a teach option. So here, yeah, and so see here, there are classes. So in these classes, you need to create your own classroom. And so see here, for example, this is my own class. Since I teach for IT student, so these two, just I have added only 2 students. So these 2 students I have added in my classroom. So what I can do, I can assign projects to my students, and I can monitor their workplace. I can monitor their workplace by using my website. So this is how you can form a classrooms here, and you can assign the students projects to the students, and you can monitor their work from your login page. So you can monitor, or you can instruct them by using your dashboard. So this is how, and yeah, so finally this is how we can use better use of this Tinkercad website, and how we can use all these features of this website. And the important thing is, no need to download any software. It is just web based. Only on the web page you can do. One drawback is it is not good in your mobiles. The mobile screen is not sufficient to operate this website. I mean, you cannot connect effectively all the components by using in your mobile screen. So for an effective use of this website, better you log in your laptop or in your desktop. That is the first important point. And so this is all about Tinkercad. So with one more, I mean, I would like to share one more about one more website. Then I will conclude the session. So this is a Tinkercad, about Tinkercad. And in this Tinkercad, to use the Tinkercad, we need to be signed in to this website. So you need to give your credential to this website. But without giving any credentials or without signing into the website, there is another website. There also you can create your own virtual circuits with animations. Even simpler when compared to the Tinkercad. I will show you. So that is the website. So all of you, please note down the website name, falstad.com. circuit/circuit.js.html. Yeah, so this is the website homepage. There is no much graphical animations. It is a very simple website. One drawback, I mean, the other thing, I mean, when compared to Tinkercad, here all the components will appear with its symbols, but not with its physical form. So that is one drawback, or that is the disadvantage, let me say. So first let me introduce this website, and then I will show you how we can construct the same LED circuit and half-wave rectifier by using this website. But it will not take that much time. First, so if you are very new to this website, so you need to go to the circuit and to the basics. So here you will find so many pre-connected circuits. So they have already connected. For example, half-wave rectifier. So this is an half-wave rectifier circuit. So this is a half-wave rectifier circuit. So see here, this is an input and this is the output. This is already pre-connected. But if you want to connect the same circuit, what you need to do, I will show you. And I will also show you full wave rectifier. So this is a full wave rectifier. And so I think if you are well aware about op amps, you can go to the op amp circuits, but I don't know much about op amps. And these are all, anyway, LCR circuit. So this is a pre-connected LCR circuit. Okay, now I will show you how to connect these type of circuits by using this website. But by operating a pre-connected circuit, we will be not get any knowledge. To get the knowledge, we need to connect by ourselves. So that is what I will show you now. Go to blank circuit. So here, go to blank circuit. Yeah. Now I'll explain a little faster. Yeah. So now I'll construct an LED circuit, the same which I have connected in our Tinkercad. Now the same circuit I am going to connect here. So to connect any circuit here, you need to go to the draw. Here, almost every electronic component is available here. Almost every electronic component is available here. The number of components available here is much larger than the Tinkercad. But the thing is, all the components are appear here with its electronic symbols, with its symbol. For example, the resistor will appear here as a symbol of the resistor, but not as which we will use in our regular lab. Anyway, now I'm going to connect an LED circuit. So yeah, first I need to take an LED. Yeah, see here, outputs and labels. If you go to outputs and labels, there is an LED, an option, LED and available. You just click on add LED. After clicking on add LED, you just place cursor wherever you want to add an LED. Click there, drag there. So this is an LED. Okay, next. I need to connect a resistor in series to this LED. Now go to draw, add resistor. One end of the resistor, click and draw. Yeah, the resistor I have connected. Now I need to connect an ammeter in series. So draw. Okay, draw. I need to connect ammeter. Ammeter, which means it is a label component. So go to output and labels and go to add ammeter. So add ammeter. So ammeter I have added. Now I need to connect a voltmeter across the LED. So go to output and labels, add voltmeter. So here I need to connect a voltmeter. Okay. And next I need to add a battery. So go to draw, input and sources. Here there are and there are several options. So see here, there are several options, but now I need to add voltage source to terminal. So see, yeah, so this is P side. So for the P side, we need to connect the positive terminal of the battery. So now I have all the components. Now I need to connect these two by using a wire. So go to draw, add wire. Oh, here also go to add wire X. So and here again it is a constant power supply, but I need to vary the power supply. So how to vary the power supply? You just go to the battery, right click on it. So add slider. So voltage. So the minimum value is let me say 0. The maximum value is, let me say, 10 volt. Okay. So this is, now if I drag this button, the voltage is varied across the LED. So now, so all of you please look at the animation. The very important thing about this website is, so you can see the animations. So see how the current is flowing. And I forgot to connect the voltmeter. So okay. So see, when I increasing the voltage, the glow of light is also increasing. At a particular voltage, the glowing is start. So the same as we know at 1.6. Yeah. And here an important thing, you can add your own graph here. So you just click on view in undocked scope. Draw. So this is how you can add a graph. Show V versus I. Okay. So now I'll show you the graph. Yes. All of you please look at the graph. All of you please look at the graph. The graph, how the graph is varying. So this is how we can construct an LED, how we can perform the experiment by using this circuit. And the advantage of this LED circuit is you can observe with animation. You can observe the circuit diagram with animations. So this is how we can construct an LED circuit. So, and yeah, the next next I will show you how we can construct an half wave rectifier. Yeah. So to construct an half wave rectifier, yeah. So I need a transformer. Yeah. So add a transformer. So see here, there are two options: add transformer and add tapped transformer. Tapped transformer can be used for full wave rectifier, and this is the transformer. Yeah. Okay. So to the transformer, yeah, to the transformer, I need to add an input, AC voltage source. Okay. So this is an AC input voltage. Now to the one of the terminal, I need to connect a diode. Add a diode. Now across the diode, I need to connect a resistor. Now I need to connect this resistor to the transformer with a wire. Done. So this is the circuit connection of half wave rectifier. And To observe the output across the load resistor, you just go to the load resistor, right click on it, view in unlocked scope, and this will show you, yeah, so this will show you, yeah, so this is the output. And if you want to know what is the input, so this is the input. So the lower one is an input and the upper one, this one is the output. So this is how we can construct an half wave rectifier with a simple, in a simple way. And the advantage of this website is you can observe the animations. So see, so for first half cycle the current is flowing through the LED. For the second half cycle the current is not flowing, but the current direction in all entire cycle is the same along the load resistor. So this is how the output is coming. So this is how you can construct any circuit diagram, literally, because almost all components, so see, wire, resistor, passive components, input sources, output labels, active components, almost every electronic component is available here. If you are perfect with the circuit diagram, you can construct any circuit. For example, if you are an CSE student or if you are an EC student, you may know the Norton theorem and all, yeah, some theorems. For example, yeah, Thevenin's theorem and Norton's theorem. You can just go to the Thevenin's theorem. It is a pre-connected Thevenin's theorem circuit diagram. You can explain or you can reconstruct the same. You can explain or you can reconstruct the same. And for example, I'll show you. Okay, wait a moment. I'll show you how you can share. Oh, sorry. One moment, I'll show you. Yeah. So, for example, you have already connected. For example, I will go with blank. Yeah. So input. So we put AC source. To connect with this AC source and diode. Okay, so actually this is a half wave rectifier circuit diagram. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so this is an input and this is an output. Now I would like to share this circuit or this animation to the students or to the faculty. Then how I can share this circuit, I'll show you. It is very simple. You just go to the file, you just click on save as. So click on the link below to save your circuit, and it will be saved as a txt file. It is a very less data file. It will be saved as a txt file. You can save as a txt file. Yeah, it will ask the location. Just a moment. Yeah, so now I'm saving in my local desktop, in my local system. So since it is half wave rectifier, so just I'm renaming half wave rectifier. Yeah, so HWR txt file I'm saving. And yeah, now I'll show you how it is saving in your local system. Yeah, so Just a moment, I'll show you. Yeah, so see here. So this is how it has saved HWR TXT in my system, and this file. Yeah, so this file you can share with WhatsApp or Gmail, any like. So, and then this file, how they can open this file, I'll show you now. So you just go to the blank. You just go to the file, just click on open file. So you just select that file. Please bear with me. It is something has happened. My system has slowed down. Yeah. So you just select the saved file. Yeah, I conclude the session. Yeah, you can just select the saved file and I just click on open. Yes. So see, it has opened. So it is very simple to save the file, or to the saved file you can share to anyone. So they need to go to the website and they need to click on file and they need to click on open file and just they need to select the file. And similarly, I'll show you one of my projects. So I have created filters. I have created all filters circuits. Just I'll show you. So these are all the filters circuits. So I have created and I have saved. So this txt file I can share to anyone. So this is how, and this is unfiltered circuit. This is L filter, C filter, LC filter, CLC filter. So this is the CLC filter output. So these circuits I have only created. So in this way you can use this website also. So in my today's session I have explained about two websites. One is a Tinkercad, the second one is Falster.com. Each website has its own advantages and disadvantages. So whatever you feel convenient, you can use that website. And for any queries, for any suggestions or any help needed, you can directly contact me on this phone number or my email ID. Or I have already some of videos I have already created, and I have my own channel. This is my channel name. So youtube.com user Raju360360. So this is my YouTube channel where I have uploaded all the websites. I mean all the videos which are related to Tinkercad and all Falster. You may get better idea if you go to my channel. You can browse my channel also. You can note down my phone number or you can note down my email ID. Any help needed, you can feel free to contact me. So thank you all. Thank you for your patient listening. Handing over to the organizers.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful session. I think many of them will be benefited. Most of the students who have participated here, they are from UG classes. So it will be helping them a lot. One thing, I have a few questions for you. That is, will any of these, two softwares, will they show any indication as whether we have gone wrong in our circuit? Will they notify us? Is there anything like that?
Ma'am, I'll show you in the Tinkercad. In that case, but for example, if your circuit connection is not proper, so in that case, the simulation will not work. If the simulation is working, then your circuit is proper. Hope you understood. Ma'am? Hello?
Hello. When it was the
Ma'am.
LED, it was showing a break. Okay.
Ah.
So for any other circuits which were we are not using the LED, can we know it?
Yes, ma'am, you can surely.
Will
will
it
show you.
notify us, or will it? What will be the indication shown?
It will not show any indication, but if is there any wrong connection in the circuit, the simulation will not work. If the simulations are not working, then you need to check your entire circuit thoroughly.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
sir. Now another thing is whether we can do since the first one, it was more friendly when you look at it. It has a view which is different. So can we do any experiment using for gates or op-amps or something like that? Is
Yeah,
that
you can do any circuit connection by using this falstart.com, or if you go to the Tinkercad. So first what you need to do, hold a moment, I'll show you. So for example, if you are using if you are in a Tinkercad, just a moment, I'll show you. The net is little slow.
Sir, I want to ask you one more thing. That is there any mobile-friendly apps? Because most of our students, they are they are very comfortable with their mobiles. Is there any
Yes, ma'am.
mobile-friendly apps that they can use?
Falstart you can use in a mobile. Falstart, the second website which I have explained you.
Okay, sir. Okay,
that
sir.
that website you can use in the mobile. This website you can use in the mobile, and the Tinkercad also you can use in the mobile, but the mobile screen should be large. I mean, minimum 6-inch. Then only you can use this the Tinkercad. So, for example, if you want to know or to create a circuit diagram, just now you have asked a question, no, ma'am? So whatever the circuit, if for example, if you want to connect an op-amp circuit, or if you want to connect a microprocessor circuit, whatever the circuit you want to connect, you just go to the component section, search for your components. For example, if you want to connect a microprocessor circuit, so see here, these are the components which are available. So you can, if all the components are available, you can form a circuit. So first you need to go through the components list. But in the falstart.com, almost 99% of components are available. So you just go to here. So see, op-amps, logic gates, almost all the components are available. So that's the thing. Ma'am, any other doubts?
Sir. Okay, sir. Let me see whether in the chat box they have posted any questions. Excuse me, Anjana. Do you want to ask something?
And
to the participants, I have posted the feedback link on the chat box. Please do fill the the feedback link. And if you have no further questions, we shall. I think just because, sir, most of the students are degree students, the final years, and they have not even gone to the lab. That is why they don't know what to ask, maybe.
anyway.
Because they didn't attend the classes for several months now. So
oh yes.
they don't
anyway,
know what is going to happen in the electronics lab. They have not even seen the breadboard, maybe. But in the second year, they have done a few experiments. Maybe that won't help them to ask some questions. Now,
Okay. I have also posted my YouTube link. If anyone interested, you can go through my YouTube channel, and you can go to my videos for the better understanding of the websites.
Hello.
hello.
Huh.
Hello. Is there anyone who want to ask a question?
Hello, Miss.
Yes, please tell. Just tell. Ardra, can you can hear me, not?
Yes.
Just ask what you want.
Sir, if you make a connection and which is not worked proper, how can we know that which we connect in improper manner?
Yeah, actually, if the connection is if any connection is not working, first what you need to do, you need to click on the simulation part. If the simulation is not working, then you need to recheck your circuit diagram. You just, if possible, you just remove all the components. You just try to reconnect it, and better first make sure of the polarity of all the components. And once again, I'm saying a single error is not acceptable. So a single error can also be not acceptable. So you need to be very perfect with your circuit diagram. Then only the simulation will work out.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, and for any further information, for any further clarification, you can go to the videos which I have already posted in the YouTube.
Okay, thank you, Ardra, also for asking the question. Anyone else, if they want to ask something to sir, they can do it now. So, in sir, I think in both the websites that you showed, there are so many inbuilt components. Only with that we'll be able to. I think most of the circuits that we want to know, we can do with it, right?
Yes,
okay.
My name is, there is one more question in the chat box. Can we make counter circuits and op-amp circuits?
Yeah, just now, sir also told that.
For op-amp circuit, you can
sir, when I went through the false start, counter circuits, they have given some particular counters. So, can we? Is there any option to do experiment on that or anything?
You can do, ma'am. You can do any experiment in the false start. If you found your circuit diagram, what you need to do, you just go through your circuit diagram which already connected in the falsestart.com. So then what you need to do, you just go to the blank circuit, you just try to reconnect all the components.
Okay.
So you will get to know how the components will work out.
And as far as Tinkercad, you are saying that when we type the whatever name, circuit component, then if it is available, we can do that.
Yes, if you are available, you can do the components.
Okay. I think we can wind up the session. Regina, there is one more question. Is it just electrical circuit that we can do? Can we do experiments like simple pendulum? That is a general physics experiments.
If you want a general physics experiment, there is a very good website is available. That is vlab.co.in, virtual lab, vlab.co.in. There you will find almost all general physics experiment, light related or heat related, every physics, general physics experiment. If you are in my channel, there are some FDPs have already organized for the general physics labs. You can go through that videos. If you have any doubt, you can call me personally.
Yes. Sir, then can I ask you something? That is this MHRD site which you just mentioned. We have been, I was just going through it because I also saw it in the workshop, during the workshop. So need we sign in for all these things? When we go to Amrita or something like that.
But I mean, in the two months back, there is some critical issue in that website. Which means we need to enable our Flash player in our browser to use the website 2 months back. But they have updated their website. Now, no need to use any Flash players or any website. Just you need to sign in. You just need to sign in to that website. That is easy. If you
Is
have
it
any help
for only
regarding,
the
yeah,
whole thing, or if it is for
whole,
IIT, each
no, no,
each
no.
institute we have to do a different sign in?
No, 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 no need, no need. If you go to vlab.co.in, a single sign-in can use it for all labs.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, there are they have designed very beautifully all the labs. General
Okay,
physics, lab,
our several experiments are there. Okay,
yes, and almost all department labs are available there.
okay, okay. Is there any other question from the part of the participants? So can we wind up the session? I think we can go forward. Thank you, sir. It's okay. So I think there won't be much questions then, sir. Regina, Doctor, I will just ask Dr. Regina from our department to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected Dr. Raju Patagni, the resource person of the day, Dr. Malini, our HOD, faculty members from across the colleges, and my dear students. I'm sure all of us had a fantastic morning filled with the new informative sessions, for which we are all indebted to the wonderful session which we had. Dr. Patagani, in a lucid manner, sir, you explained to us as to how to construct and simulate electronic circuits, starting from a simple LED and then adding on the components to them, then later on moving on to more and more complex circuits, involved circuits like half-wave rectifier, common base, common emitter circuits, and also about the projects which you showed. We are thankful to them for the projects which you showed to us. And you also showed us as to how to assign projects to the students. So I'm sure that all of us are kind of excited to have been introduced to these numerous possibilities on these virtual experimenting platforms. And I'm sure that the participants would now be excited to do hands-on virtual experiments. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session we had. So now I also extend my thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. Sister Beena, for all the support she renders to our programs throughout, and also to Dr. Malini, our HOD, who's the driving force actually behind all our departmental activities. I thank Dr. Mini Krishna for coordinating and organizing such an informative session. Thank you, ma'am. And I know that all the faculty members of our department are in one way or other involved in this work, and all of us have had their part for the smooth conduct of this program. Thank you, my dear friends. And the participants consist of the faculties and students from across the colleges in and around Thrissur. I thank all the faculties from other colleges to have encouraged their students to take part in the session, which I'm sure would be beneficial for them as well. Thank you all. Have a great time experimenting virtually. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Regina, also for that rendering. And I think the participants have been really benefited from the session. Thank you, sir. Hope to have some more sessions with you in the future. Okay, sir.
One request, ma'am. Please share the recorded session to me.
Of course, I didn't get you, sir.
Recorded session, recorded. The video you have recorded, ma'am, entire session. That recorded session, you please share to me.
Of course, sir. Of course, sir. We will do it for you. Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.